All right. Greetings and welcome to Live Talk. I am your host, Arthur Jeremiah, alongside my co host, the minister, Samuel.
Hey, welcome again back to Live Talk.
Yes, indeed. Another loud one. All right. Before we get into anything, we're going to do our general statement, like always. Live Talk is brought to you by TBS Goodwill and Builders of the Highway Foundation. We ask that you verify or contact your personal or business consultant about any information that we share on this show. Laws are different from state to state, and federal, state, and local laws change often. Do not lean solely on the information that you hear on this show. However, there are professionals on this show that you can consult with, but through the right channels. If you have questions or concerns, you can always email us at livetalkorl@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Facebook and Instagram at Live Talk Orlando. All right, so we got that out of the way, brother. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful today. How about you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Had a pretty good weekend thus far. Actually got to see David Chappelle. He came in town, so that was a
Ooh,
beautiful thing.
that was a great start. Maybe that's why the weather got so. Maybe we had a change of weather because he came in on a storm.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. You know how he is too. How he do it. Well, let us give you just a rundown of the show today, so you know um, what to expect. First, we have the minister word of today. Shortly after that, we'll go to a commercial break. And then our main topic is the continuation of episode 4. And this kind of titled this Growing Up in America as a Melanated Young Man, the obstacles one must fight through in order to achieve anything. Right after that, we'll go to a commercial break again, and then we'll come back with our rural or community news. And today we're going to highlight some things in our community. What we try to do in our community news, we try to highlight things that touch home in our community, that touch home with our youth in the community, our businesses, and highlight certain things that are not always mentioned by the mainstream media. So we're gonna see how we can touch on something that touch home with us. And then right after that, we'll begin to close out. We'll have a motivational quote by myself, the host. So with no further ado, Minister, what's the word of the day?
All right, let's go in for our word of today. The word of today is going to be obstacle. Obstacle. So we're going to break it down by definition first. Obstacle is something that impedes progress or achievement. It is something material or non material that stands in the way of literal or figurative progress. Obstacle is a thing that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders. There are different types of obstacles, like physical, economic, cultural, political, technological, and so forth. But as always, from a positive note today, we want to talk about overcoming obstacles. And some examples, kind of being on the subtle side, is you can have an obstacle, can be like shyness or fear or embarrassment. It has been said that a lack of imagination is an obstacle to one's achievement. Now, I think back about obstacle, old school, like when the grandparents, they used to call it a stumbling block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, they say it was a stumbling block. And it was like anything, any person, anything could be considered a stumbling block, right, or obstacle.
Right.
And whatever that is, you had to motivate your way to get around it. So Booker T. Washington said it like this. He said that he learned that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed. And I guess today has overcome some serious obstacles.
That's a beautiful thing. Because one of the when I was kind of looking at when you kind of shared that word prejudice is an obstacle
Yes.
to our improvement. Racism is the obstacle to our improvement. So when we think about all the different things that impedes our progress as a people, um, there are many different obstacles.
Yes.
Heck, we are our obstacles. A lot of times when you see some of us make it, you know what I'm saying? We're not trying to bring the other one up the ladder.
Yep.
So it's like you try to impede progress, but we want to focus on the obstacles that our guest is going to come in and talk about, because these are some things like what you mentioned that touch home with our youth even today. And I don't want to go so deep into it. I'll let him come on there, but I do thank you for that word of today. We're going to get deeper into that word of today because I know we're going to talk about it.
See, we got obstacles, but we overcome them. See,
Right.
you talked about a lot of those social, economic, police brutality is an obstacle. A driver's license can be an obstacle.
Right.
Being undereducated can be an obstacle.
Right.
A miseducation is an obstacle.
Right.
But we talking about overcoming them.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm an enrolled agent with Scott & Associates accounting firm. As you can see, we work diligently for our clients, making sure that all of their tax and accounting needs are met. Come take a walk with me.
At Scott & Associates, we pride ourselves in providing exceptional service to our clients. We firmly stand behind all of the work that we do. However, we have also put measures in place to protect our clients should something ever go wrong.
To schedule a tax appointment for your business or personal need, text or call us today at 321-754-1360. And remember, you can always count on Scott.
All right. Welcome back to Live Talk. And again, we have with us on the show today, Brother Yona, aka Sonny. And that's to reflect back a little bit. I encourage him to come on to the show, because his story is one that I believe can motivate many. And if you haven't seen our last show, you're going to also see the continuation of this show, and we're going to reflect back just a tad bit on some of the information that we talked about on the show. I won't have you reflect back on it, but I share with the listening audience a little bit, because you got a very, and it may not be unique to a lot of people, but you have your story is very unique, because you done made it through the obstacles that we talk about that kind of impedes our progress. And a lot of times, if I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I'm getting feedback from someone.
Background.
Oh, okay. So we want to talk about that, but I'm gonna share with the listening audience. In our last show, we talked about his upcoming. We talked about his transition into the U.S. and how like coming from down south to Central Florida was like night and day. And when he was down south, he didn't experience a lot of racism like he did when he came to Central Florida. And being in Central Florida, he got into some trouble, but he didn't have the true understanding, or he wasn't as conscious as many may be of the racism that is present in our world today. And because of that, he got into some troubles. And coming from a poverty-stricken family, he went on to do some things that, according to the law, wasn't in line with the law, and therefore ended him up in prison. And I think that's where we kind of left off last time, you was falsely accused. You had a public defender, a pretender, who was supposed to have defended you. Someone said that you had a gun and you didn't have a gun. You went all the way to trial, but your public defender was persuaded by the prosecution to not pursue your defense like he should have. And therefore, you end up with the time that you got and the sentence that you have. Now you're in prison. You have a sentence of how many years?
10 years.
You have a 10-year sentence. And in most cases, for people that may not understand, at that particular time, the law state that whatever time you have, I think you was up on 85%.
No, it wasn't 85% yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still,
Getting game time.
Oh,
yeah, still game time.
right, game time.
Control release was still available, but they stopped it. Matter of fact, that's another thing because it stopped while I was in there and I was getting ready to leave. And
okay. Well, it wasn't at 85% as of yet. He is like he met that right between where they changed it at, which was a great thing. You've been doing like about 8 or 9 years, opposed to doing the 6.5. I think you did, right? 6.5. So, all right. So you're in prison now. What's going through your head?
I'm in prison. That was, the first year, everything that kicked in for me yet. It was like, because when I came through the reception center, you were told that, guess what? They give habitual felons, they were giving them, if your crime wasn't violent, you can get control release. So I was getting CRD, control, I was getting that game time, which is game time on top of game time. So I was like, well, I'm habitual. They'd say, no, you get it because it's nonviolent. I was like, what? And I was like, so my whole time, my mind was like, I'm getting out way before that time that says it. That's what I thought. I was like, I was happy and stuff like that. So instead of focusing on getting myself right, I was still with that young mind of getting out. It wasn't that, oh, I'm going to get out and get a job and do this and do that. My mind was set, still in that young stage that I was getting out. I can't wait to get out, to party, drink, mess with a couple of girls. It was right back to that same mindset, that, I wasn't growing up. But when, it's all political. It's all political. When, Governor Childs, Lord Childs, he stopped control release. I was getting ready to get out in a month. So it was like I had a month left to get out on control release. And they used to post the game time on the mailroom window that the state is kicking out this much game time for people to control release. You used to go up there and see it. Oh, they kicked out 50 days. Oh, yeah, they kicked out 100 days. So you're getting real happy. I'm like, man, I got a month. So I had my big sister mail my package in for me to go home, clothes and shoes and stuff like that for me to go home because I got a month left here. And Lauren Childs said, ho, ho, ho. I'll never forget that newspaper. I had that newspaper. I think I still got it, where he says, ho, ho, ho. Inmates thinking they were going to get out by Christmas. Think again. Because he wanted to get reelected. So he stopped that. Swipe that. And now I'm like, oh, shoot. So now you're going 30 days for 30 days and that game, whatever that game time was. And you're getting that. And it just like hit me like, is this happening? This can't be happening. And so now, time is going by. You keep hearing, oh, they're going to come out with a new system. They're going to come out. So you had hopes on that. And then after a year, 2 years went by, there ain't nothing coming out. You're going to have to do that time. And then when you heard about that 85%, I got scared. But it wasn't for the people that was currently there. It was for the new people that coming in. Like, but still, I'm looking at, man, because when you get your time, it tells you what time you're getting out. You're not getting out to 2000. I wasn't supposed to get out until 2000, 2001, something like that. 2020, no, 2002, something like that. So you're looking at that thing and you're like, man, it's 1994. It's 95. And you're like, oh my gosh. So now you feel like you're never getting out, and you're watching people leave and come back, and you're still there. And you're getting moved around from camp to camp. So like I said, for me, what drew the change for me was, and really smacked me across my head to make me wake up, was the picture of my daughter when she was 5. That made me open my eyes.
Now tell
And
me.
you know, I
go
wanted
ahead.
to share because some people might who missed the last show, just to bring that up. You had a child, but you hadn't seen that child.
No, I haven't. Last time I seen my child, she was 2 months old.
2 months old.
Yeah, so I'm still thinking toddler, and all the pictures I have of her, she's just a toddler. So when I got that picture of her when she was 5, it really hit me because I knew, I had a kid.
How many years you was in before you?
This was when it hit me. I think it was like 94, 95. No, I would think I was already in 4 years, like 4 years or something like that. I think I was already in, or 3.5 years, and I just remember that time hit me like that, man, and it was like seeing that, and I looked at that picture, one picture of her over and over again, and it just like, dude, it wasn't that. You know how you be like, I got a kid.
Right.
It got to me that you're a father, you're a dad. It wasn't that I got a kid no more. I was a father. And it just like took a lot of me. So I just went ahead and I'm playing basketball and lifting weights. They're taking all these programs away. So now it doesn't feel like it's about rehabilitation no more. You know what I'm saying? It isn't about that no more and stuff like that. So I was like, I got to do something because I can't go back out here with the same stuff. So, no more friends. You're not hearing from friends no more. You're hearing from nobody. You're doing time alone. Because you're not getting mail, because the 2 things when you're incarcerated that helps keep you afloat is if you get mail or you're able to call home. I wasn't able to do that. So it took a toll on me and stuff like that. So I'm like, I got to start doing stuff to get extra game time. I got to do something to help myself clear. So I started hanging out with the brothers that was Muslim, the Islam people. I started going to their little seminar. Not that I wanted to join and become one of them. I wanted to get, that little spiritual stuff. And then I met Yate, who was, he followed Yahweh. So I started hanging with him. And then I was like, man, you know what? I ain't did much of nothing since I've been here but play sports and collect these false little certificates that ain't getting me nowhere. And that's for playing sports. That ain't getting me nowhere. So I went back to school and I got my GED. And then I started taking other classes and stuff because they took a lot of programs, beneficial program like carpentry, brick mason. They eliminated all that. So I went to anger management classes to get more time and understand, which I knew why I was angry and all the stuff here, but I did that to get extra game time. And then I started going to the library. I started doing more reading, more history, and I started hanging with this brother Yate. And man, he was just like, wow. I said, and I told him I knew about Yahweh. I knew about Ben Yahweh. I said, I'm from Miami. I watched the glory of it. So I've seen it all. So we started talking and all the stuff here. And the more I started reading some of his books, like I told you, the famous one for me was You're Not a Nigger. And I started reading that and it got me and stuff like that. And I just kept reading as he transferred. You didn't have that much. And I got sent to another camp and I started running into some other brothers so I started, hanging with them, learning more. And then, you're always going to have that negative people that's around you. They don't understand some sort of negative, man. Why you hanging around them, man? And all the stuff here. It's like, what do you mean? It was like, man, that's them Yahweh dudes. I'm like, hey, like, come on, man. Stuff. So I started backing away from them cats because to them, they want to keep telling gangster fairy tales, who they slept with, how many they slept with, how much money they had, all the stuff here. And so I started quizzing people, like asking questions. Like I said, like one of the things I did, this is how I started separating myself from certain people. I said, if I gave you $10 million in drugs right here, and I gave you 250,000 cash, which one do you take? Man, it was such a shame that all them cats that was on that bleacher with me said, oh, I'm taking that $2 million dope and stuff like that. No, but I said, well, I'm taking a 250K right there. And it was like, man, 250K, man, hey, man, $2 million. Like, I said, you might sell a dime bag and get busted. Then what? Got all that stuff and fed and stuff. So we started talking. So I started breaking away from that because it was just too much. Then I started hanging with myself, but I still played basketball, still went. But I had to tell them respect because I need to know what I was doing that's going to land me back in here. And I knew it was going to land me back in here. That little same mindset that got me here. It's going to go back out there. And if I keep thinking that way, so that's why I told you, I said, whatever job I get, I'm going to be the best. Toilet bowl scrubber, I'm going to be the best toilet bowl. Janitor, whatever it took. Flip burgers. They had brothers in there saying, I ain't flipping no burgers. I ain't have me. I was like, shh, I'll flip burgers. I'll do fries. I'll mop floors. It was ever because I did not want to come back here.
See, I'm going to catch you when you said it. So it sounded like that you got in there and decided you needed to get a work ethic.
Exactly.
Irregardless of your surroundings.
Exactly. And so I started doing other things. I kept, working out, but I did more reading, which I didn't really do. I did more read. I didn't want to just read the Bible because you got those jailhouse preachers. They get that book and they read the Bible and Lord, but they're not expanding the education. And I noticed when I started hanging with people that understood the history of it and stuff like that, and they were opening my mind and stuff like that. And I was loving what I was hearing, because sometimes if you think about it, a lot of people that go to church, it's all about a cheerleading session. It's a feel good situation. Yeah. But they don't even know what they're even reading. They're depending on somebody else. They're not doing the study. And I wanted to learn more. And that's where, it got away from me and stuff. And I wanted to learn how to fill out an application, because I noticed when I was out before I got incarcerated, I didn't know how to fill out an application. I got an application and, I had to understand their shifts. I didn't understand it. I went in there. Okay, Monday, I want to work 3 to 6, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 in the afternoon. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same shift. And then Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I want off. And I want all in holidays, I don't want to work. They'll hire me. You know what I'm saying? And then you know how this, and then they said salary, saying desired, Oh, this is 1990, 1992. Right. I want $10 an hour.
This is what I desire.
Yeah, this is what I desire. That's what y'all asked me. You wonder why I never got a phone call. So, I didn't understand why nobody's, calling me and stuff. And then, but like I said, you go back to prison. So I'm sitting here, I'm learning how to fill an application. And they were teaching me, and they got a course that teaches them.
You're in prison now,
doing this,
learning all this. But see, now it takes someone that's willing to learn, because everybody that don't have to do that, right?
No, it's not required.
Yeah, so it's something that a person has to take on.
Exactly. They have
to make a change.
Yeah, they have the video that you can go watch because it's called pre-release. You know what I'm saying, where you can go there and watch the video. But when you go in there, you watch the video, a lot of those guys are looking here, and then you're seeing these feel-good stories and stuff these people telling. It's kind of like an illusion, and nobody really paying attention to that. Or you could take the course. And I took the course because, like I said, when I looked at my daughter, man, I looked at that picture over and over, man. And I was like, gosh, man, so much time has went by. I'm lost. I really want to be a really good father and stuff like this. But I said, for me, it was not about proving nothing to nobody. It was about proving something to myself. I didn't want to try to prove nothing to my mom, my sister, nobody. It's about to myself. Because a lot of times when you try to go out there and you try to prove something to people, they could be negative. And then it just like, man, I'm doing all this. And that's where I kind of got caught up with a lot of stuff, is I let the scenario of other people telling me that I'm not going to amount to nothing bother me. Instead of doing things, I got suckered into that. So I was taking those courses and stuff like that. And I was learning, and for me, it was a happy time for me that I was actually learning something that's going to benefit me out here. That's what I felt. No matter, people's like, ain't nobody going to hire you. You're a convicted felon. Nobody's going to hire you. So that was the fear factor for me. So,
yeah, and that's the fear. A lot of young men coming out of prison. That's why some of them may not even take the time to learn some of, which, like what you mentioned, they don't have a lot of those programs available anymore for people to take advantage of. And coming out of that system, you have to have something. Well, one good thing you got was your GED.
Yeah.
And when you get a GED, at least that kind of can put you on a path of trying to acquire some type of employment. I don't want to get to, like, when we talk about that experience, being in there, what would you be able to tell someone right now? What did you learn from that? Like what? Because we have our pitfalls
Yeah.
and then we have those learning curves and lessons that goes with us as we move past that one obstacle. Because we can say prison was that form of that obstacle that
Yeah,
you
it was
had
an
to
obstacle.
overcome in a with a good conscious mindset and not be what I want to call it angry at the world, because some of our young men can can get out be angry at the world because they was incarcerated and don't look to make a change, but try to cause more agony to either the parents or what have you, and put themselves in a worse situation. So, what you say you learned from that experience?
From that experience, I learned more racism. I'm gonna tell you that
Mm,
because prison is a losing situation because you have those officers in there, like, and a lot of the prisons are in, I'm just gonna say, little redneck towns,
mhm,
and it's like family hire after family members, and racism is so bad. It's so bad in prisons and stuff like that. So me, I made pick about it to stay away, stuff like that. And it's a big illusion in prison because you get caught up in those fairy tale stories these guys telling you, stuff like that, and you actually get fooled to think you can go out there, and because a lot of guys think that they're learning how to be a better
Smarter
criminal.
criminal.
Yeah, they're being a smarter criminal.
Beat
Yeah,
the system.
yeah, beat the system. I just won't do it this way. But little as they know, there's somebody else already told the police the new way of doing it.
right.
You just don't know, and stuff like, so you have that illusion, and then the fake stripes. Oh, I got jail stripes. So I'm supposed to be this, supposed to be that. And they get out there with that mentality thinking that that's going to get them through life, or they get out there and think they no. Prison will sell you a fake dream, and sometimes prison will break you down. Saying, if you let it, but you need to be broke down,
Right.
because if it doesn't break you, if prison doesn't break you, you're going to be back.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of, oh, it didn't break me. Then you're going to find yourself right back in there. You need prison. You need to go in there, and it breaks you, because when it breaks you, guess what? You got to rebuild yourself and stuff like that. And it broke me because I wasn't hearing from family members. It's like I was doing this trip on my own. So
I was gonna
And-
get
and-
to that. Go
And
ahead.
I want you to elaborate a little bit because you mentioned it, but if you can understand the question, like I know how important that was to you to see your daughter, and all that time had went past. But what you said was you recognized that you were a father,
yeah,
and you had a responsibility.
exactly.
And for someone in that position that they can have a child but don't understand that they're a father and the responsibility to go with that, but that meant something to you.
It's because my close relationships with my siblings, because I have a real close relationship with my sisters. I love all my sisters, and I love my little brothers and stuff like. I've always had that bond with my three sisters that I live with, and I had to basically play father figure to my little sisters. So I had to be the protector and stuff like that. And I had to be the man at an early age in the house. And I had to learn to cook. I had to learn to do certain things. So taking care of my little sisters kind of set me up for fatherhood and stuff like that. What I'm saying? When you're looking out for that siblings, it teaches you a lot of value. But then again, sometimes it'll get you kind of thinking that you're really ready for that stuff, because you'll be like, oh, I took care of my sister, I can babysit. But then you don't understand that being a father is not a part-time job, you know? So for me, I was thinking of all the time I had to cook for my sister, providing little meals I had to put together, make sure they eat. So now I got this kid out here, and I got to go do this stuff for her. And then you get messages that the mom is not doing right. She's partying, drug using, alcohol, and stuff like that, and just doing all this stuff. So I got to get out of here and take care of my kid. I got to, what I'm saying? Whatever she's doing with her life, that's her. I got to take care of my daughter. She's not in a good place and stuff like that. So it was a guilt trip for me that I left my daughter behind, and how her mom is living life. So it was a guilt trip for me.
And to think about it, there's a lot of men in prison with children but they don't see it that way.
No.
If you go turn around and go right back, and you know your child is out there that needs you, you made that connection, which is part of the reason I think you were able to stay out, because it's like, irregardless of what the mom may or may not be doing, I know what I have to be doing.
Oh yeah, because my daughter was really big to me. It was like, man, I just couldn't let her down. You know, I had my slips and falls here and there since I've been out, but man, there's no reason, you know, kids don't ask to be here. You know, if you bring that child here, you have to take care of that child. That is and that was my thing. And then on top of that, watching my little sister's dad, you know, saying not being there for them, you know, and that killed me, you know, watching my baby sister cry, dad pop up, and then he's gone. And you don't see him for a couple of years. He might pop up again, try to play dad, and then take off again. And he was a good guy. Constance was a real guy. You know, he was real nice to me, you know, but the problem is he belonged to the streets and stuff like that. And watching how my sister was going at it, and I was the one that had a really good father out of all my sisters. Out of all my siblings, I had the best dad. So there was no reason for me not to be a good father. And seeing what my sisters went through, it's like I couldn't do that to a kid. So I've always been in all my kids' life, no matter the headaches and tribulations I have to go through with the other half. But it's just like, it was just for me, that's my responsibility. You got to take care of that no matter what, you know, saying failures, you know, being a deadbeat, you know, saying not being a father to my child is not an option for me. That's just not.
I'll tell you one of the things, I'm pretty sure you learned from this here. That's when you get in a situation like that, you find out who your real friends are.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find out who your real friends are. Because that's one of those moments you need some friends, right?
Oh yeah.
But you eventually get out, right? So at this time, you come home. How is everything?
Matter of fact, before you get me home, the release process, it's very special to me, and it's kind of like wow, and it kicked in even more because they say the two best things about prison, you find out who really cares about you, and you release.
Right.
When you release, it's a whole different air. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And the Maurice cat I was telling y'all about last section, my day of release, this man was coming back in on, we call it the Bluebird bus.
Wow.
And that's why I was telling you, he was so happy to see me again. I was going, because you go to the visitation park to change and all the stuff in. He was happy, like, blah, blah, what's going on? Blah, blah. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Not again, dude. I walked you to the gate 3 times. You're back. And I'm just like sitting up here in my head, and he's happy. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, what are you so happy about? Like, dude, and he's like, what's going on with you? I said, I'm going home. And reality smashed him in the face. He's like, oh, you going home? Like, yeah.
And I'm not coming back.
I'm not here. I'm not here to entertain you like before.
And I won't be walking you to the front gate either.
My last
so he was just like, wow. So he gave me that, blah, blah. But the thing is like, you got some really cool people that made mistakes in their life in there. And I had just about a parade of guys that I've seen over and over from different camps. They were walking with me to that front gate, dude. You probably thought I was somebody important. But I guess because, you know, I treated those guys with the utmost respect and stuff like that. And when I had money in there where I got a settlement for my dad getting killed in a car accident, I looked out for a lot of those guys in there that didn't have. So they showed they love. They walked me to, they made sure nobody messed with me, nothing like that. I didn't pay nobody to do nothing. They just walked me, you know, it's like, yo, don't get on the basketball court. You go home tomorrow. And when they, you know, I was getting ready to leave, they were walking with me to the front gate, and they all gave me brotherly hugs, man. It was like, man, stay out, man, all the stuff here. Anyway, but back to when I got released, you know, you're given $100. That's it. But the new system now is they used to give you a bus ticket and $100. The new system is $50, and they take that other $50, they say, to pay for your bus ticket. So now you only got $50 in your hand, and they give you a T-shirt brand new white t-shirt, boxer shorts, socks, blue pants, and some Bobos. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So now you're coming back. So now trying to get in contact with my little brother because I didn't want to go back to Altamont. Because I was like, Altamont is where I dealt with all this horror. I wanted to go back home to Miami. I was trying to move back with my little brother.
Now, outside of what you just mentioned, that you, as far as your attire and things of that nature, you get out, but you also got a GED. You got a little, you have matured a little more. You have learned some things, but now you're trying to navigate being in society.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about some of the challenges.
The challenges was employment. First, no, the big challenge is fear. Fear. Am I going to be able to get employment? Because you're getting that thing played back in your head. You're a convicted felon. Right. Nobody wants to hire you. So that was kind of like the thing in my head that had me scared. So now I got to navigate through society that times have changed. I didn't know that. You actually think time has frozen, but no, time moved on. And it was like a lot of people I knew, they were gone, you know, and the little kids that was trying to hang out, come around me, now they're adults and stuff like that. So you're looking at like, okay, what do I do? And I don't have, because if you had the same people you hung out with every day, now they're not there. You know, no matter if you don't want to do the things, you're not going to do the things that you once did. I got to back off, but you're trying to look for some kind of guidance. Like, what do I do? It's like, I didn't know what to do. I said, okay, I know I got to look for a job and stuff like this, but I'm really scared because everybody's telling you, felon, nobody's going to hire you. So that kind of held me back.
You know why I'm smiling? Because you mentioned you getting out, and we know the attire that you had. Who picked you up when you got out?
Oh, when I got in town, of course, I'm gonna go.
This is funny here. And tell us where did you go when you first?
Oh my gosh! Oh, the first day I got in town. My bus came in town. It was nighttime, and I called my mom's house to answer the phone, and my mom's happy and blah blah blah. She said, "Let me call Angela. Tell Angela to come pick you up," which is my baby sister, my partner. You know, so I kept forgetting because Angela was, I just remember her being 14. So I'm at the Greyhound station waiting, and this little red Corolla pulls up, and it's this little pecan tan little chick in this body dress. Some friends jump out, my baby, and I'm looking. I don't even recognize her. I'm looking back like this. Man, who old lady that is, you know what I'm saying? Lucky dude, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my little 14-year-old.
Yeah, you know, now she's 18. She comes running up to me, and I'm looking at her like she's hugging on me, like, who's you? Like, you know, she's like, it's me, Angela, your sister. I'm like, what? And I'm back up. Oh my gosh, she developed. So I'm just like, wow, okay. She's like, yeah, we're on our way to the club. Mom told me to come get you. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, so
remember what attire he has on now. Remember what he has on.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, she said, you want to go to the club? I'm like, what? Just got her with some prison. She's like, you want to go to the club? I'm like, guess, you know. She's like, you know, so you got an idea? I said, well, they gave me a prison ID, you know. So she's like, yeah, come on, just got your age. I said, yeah, I got my age on my birth. She's like, come on, let's go. I was like, first night in town. Oh man, Palladium Club. Yeah. So
some Bobos.
Some Bobos. You know, like, so, but the clubs didn't allow you in a white t-shirt. So we had to go to the little gift shops on I-Drive, the tours. So I bought a black shirt with gold letters say Florida, put that on, went in there, they let me in. And oh boy, everything has changed. The club scene has changed. I was so nervous in there. I'm seeing all the different things. I went up against the whole night. I sat up against the wall, looked around, nervous. I played that wall all night. I didn't go try to get a drink. I didn't try to talk. I sat right there up against the club, and it was like, good, I'm in the twilight zone.
I ain't want to miss that. That was just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the challenge. You said employment. You said employment was one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
because we all have to make money. We have to make a living for ourselves. And what was some of, like, because we say racism was one of those things that stood out. And I know as you went in, you did learn how to fill out an application.
Yeah.
However, those challenges was what when you're filling out these applications?
Was understanding what I was putting down. Understanding there's shifts. These jobs have shifts. There's night shift, there's day shift, there's like 8. Because when I heard, oh yeah, there's 8-hour shifts, I was like, 8 hours? Man, I ain't trying to make up in nobody job no 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, 8 hours sound like a long time. You know what I'm saying? So, you want me to sit up there in the job 8 hours, I didn't understand that. So, but like I said, when I learned how to do that stuff, but then, like I said, I told myself, man, I'm not gonna go complaining. Whatever shifts they need me to work, I just wanted to go out there and make money, man. To take, because I want to take care of my daughter, man. And I want to, do something for myself and stuff like that. But it was all about I wanted to take care of my daughter, man, and that was the thing with that. So, but that course really helped me.
You got over that fear of that application and dealing with the fact that you were a felon, and you did it anyway.
Yeah, but it took, it's going to come back to Angela again. It took Angela to push me out there, because I went ahead and took the easy thing. Was my old conniving uncle came and offered me a job as, business cleaner, where we go in at night and clean up restaurants. I jumped on that right away. And that story, man, the man was half paying me, mispaying me. And I had to leave him alone. And then one of my old buddies, he hires me to do, paint and drywall. And this is when I started learning people start taking advantage of you when they know your situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And family, like I tell people, just because they're blood, that don't mean they're always going to be family. Just because, that person is blood and stuff like that don't mean they're going to be a father to you and stuff. So that was the thing for me. And he tried to take advantage of me. Then I get with a friend's, my buddy's, his friend, and he hires me to do paint and drywall. And he was paying me, but the problem was he was taking advantage of me also. And it was like, I'm doing all the work. You're cashing in. Like, we go to a site to do a house and stuff. He's in his brand new truck with his old lady set a truck, and I'm doing all the painting and I'm doing all this. And he'll just come do, the little crispy thing at the top of the ceiling called popcorn. Shoot that, and that is. Okay, is he going to help me clean? No, I have to do the cleaning. I have to drive the van, while he drives his pretty truck and all the stuff. I get a little 30-minute break, and it just kept on. And then this is where I knew I had to get away from him. Like I said, I will bust my tail working, because, like I said, I was happy to have a job. This guy, my uncle did me dirty, but I was able to buy certain things for my daughter. The bad part about that, where I knew I need to make money, was the fact that I was able to go buy an outfit for her, but I couldn't buy the whole set. I'd have to go buy a shirt, then come back the next check and get the bottoms. Okay. I could go buy her these shoes, but I couldn't buy this because, I wasn't getting that much money from him and stuff. And so I got with Days, and here it is. I'm doing all the work, but the money's not adding up. And then don't make a mockery of me, man. Don't do me like that, because I'll tell you right now, that's where you get my ugly side. And he repeated a line that to me was a slap to my face. It was like, oh, I always knew someday you'd end up working for me. Okay, it was funny. Does it again. Now you're doing it in front of customers. I don't roll like that. And then one day we was in front of this couple, 2 male couples and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable around that. But anyway, he says the line again. The customers are laughing. Now it's like you just put me on a stage and you're making fun of me. Yeah, you're making a mockery of me. You're making fun of me. So I'm looking at them. They're laughing. I just warned this man. I told you, don't do that. Did it again. I took off the work belt, threw it on the ground. I left. I walked all the way to 436, man. I jumped on the bus. I had it. And thing is, he gave me my check that morning. So I went all the way to Washington Mutual, cashed my check and stuff like that. And I was done with that. And that's when it was like, oh man, did I just mess up? I just walked off a job. So now I'm scared again. Like, oh my gosh, because as you know, I'm on parole.
Gotta have a job.
Yeah, gotta have a job. So I'm like, oh my gosh, did I do something? So now I'm really scared. But I'm like, okay, let me go look for a job. So I'm looking. Nobody's hiring. I'm filling out these applications properly. So I'm like, well, I didn't go look for a job yet. I was scared, and so Angela, you know how she is. Angela sometimes play big sis. She's like, I'm like, man, I gotta find something else to do. She's like, well, you need to go out there and look. And I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna hire me, and blah, blah. She said, how do you know? You won't even look. You went ahead and dropped it. And she was getting on me. And one thing is, I do not like making her upset with me. That thing, it kills me for her to be mad at me. And I'm just like, oh no, she gives me the keys to her car and told me, boy, go look for a job and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I don't know. So she's like, get dressed. She said, you always know how to dress. So I get a button-up shirt, tie, slacks, dress shoes, and stuff like that. And the first place I walk into was a seafood restaurant called Straub's. I got hired on the spot.
Wow.
Man, that was the greatest feeling of my life, man. I'm like, the lady's like, you ever bust tables before? I was like, bus? I'm like, what is that? It's like, bus table. I'm like, no, I never did that. She said, yeah, we need bussers. Like, who I got a bus? And she's like, no, clean. And I got a real funny story with that. So she's like, yeah, you just clean up the tables and stuff. Mike will show you and stuff. Clean tables? You get paid for that? Like, yeah, I'll take that. So she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to hire you right on the spot. I was like, man, I didn't care if she told me, we just need you just to clean up the bathrooms. I'd have been happy because now I'm in corporate America right now. That's how I was looking at it. Because now I'm not working for a family member or friend. I'm actually working here in society. That's why I felt like I was in. So it felt so good to me. So she said, boom. So the first night, yeah, you don't get no tips. You're training. So I'm cleaning tables, blah, blah. So I started getting compliments, man. And I ain't gonna lie, I love that job, man. I started getting compliments and people's like, wow, he picked up, because we don't bust tables with the tubs like a lot of restaurants. It's this big oval trays that you've been to restaurants before. You see they bring you food. We bust table that. So you got to line up stuff and I know how to do balance stuff. Then you carry it up like that and boom, boom, boom. I caught on to that real quick. So I'm looking good, buddy. I'm dressed up nicely. I'm going from this side of the restaurant, that side, because they assign you to a certain half of the restaurant where you work. Sometimes the service needs extra help. So it's like, Sonny, boom, I run over there because I move quick. So boom, boom. So I started hearing like, wow, that guy, the new guy is moving. He's boom, boom. And then the second night, one of the owners, his name was Rob, because his last name was Straub, so his name after. And he's like, he stopped me. He said, hey, and I got, you get scared, what I'm saying? Because like, hey, I want to talk to you. I was like, oh shoot, what did I do? He's like, I love the fact that you're hustling. That shows me a lot. I love that. Bam. Shot up the sky. Now I want to work even harder, because if you recognize I'm working hard, that's going to, all I have to say is take care of me. And boom, that gave me more confidence. So I was there busting my tail working. And then when it comes to getting tips, they put them in little baggies. So I started getting 2 bags instead of 1. The servers would give me extra tips. Wow. And all of a sudden, a month working there, I had enough money for a car. Like, what? Oh, this what it feel like to have a job? To actually work for money? So it was a good feeling. But the day that I got hired, I ran home. And of course, Angela's mom to me. I run to Angela. I got a job. She got hired. She's celebrating with me like we just won lotto or something. So we're just hugging each other and everything. It's like, I told you. I said, man, you did. I was happy. So when he started, I said, man, I told him I could start today or tomorrow, whatever. So I start the next day, and Angela was happy. So I caught the bus there and stuff. Then my mom's happy and stuff like that. And I'm happy and stuff. But that was, wow, such a great feeling.
But see, that's attitude. I can't let you run past that before I say it real quick. A lot of people would say, I'm too good to be busting tables. Ain't finna clean no tables.
Exactly.
That ain't how much you gonna pay me for that? It's all in your attitude, because the owner saw something in you.
Exactly.
When the way you were working.
But that's when I said, but that started up while I was incarcerated. My mind was already set that I didn't care what the job was. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of those brothers that's in there you know what I'm saying, that doesn't have that mindset. They don't
That's
set
it.
their mind. They're like, I'm not working for this. I'm not working for that.
I won't clean. Ain't clean my
I'm,
bathroom.
they
Ain't busting
wasn't,
no
yeah,
table.
they weren't saying I wouldn't work for a certain wage. They were saying I'm not doing a certain job.
Bingo.
Me, I was like,
And that's what I was going to go. I was going to ask you that you went right into it. You'll find some of them that don't have a work ethics like that, and they'll rather go to the box
Mhm.
before they go out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
do any work. Like, so they're not learning anything.
Exactly.
And they can be in there 10, 15 years, have no work ethics when they get out on the streets, and want everything to be given to them like it was when it was in prison. Like, buddy, you're not in prison no more.
No.
You you got to make things happen. So that's a great point that you bring out, that you had work ethics. And now the probation, how long was you on the probation?
That probation was only supposed to last. Parole was only supposed to last like 3 years. It was on 2.5, 3 years, something like that. I think, yeah, 2.5 years was supposed to last. And saying so, that became another story and stuff like that. You want to get
Well, we do, because we got another
Okay.
part of this too that we're gonna get into. I'm gonna let you kind of lead that, because we're out now. We have employment. We kind of live in life.
Yeah.
You still have friends that you somewhat engaged with, because you had like a best friend at one point of time.
Yeah, I had, it was like all my old friends were like from my past were like just about gone. They moved and stuff like that out of state. A couple of them were roaming around, but we weren't hanging out like that. So I kind of made like new friends and stuff like that. And it, like it was through working, like the job. I met people at the job and stuff like that. It was things like that. That's where I made friends.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna fast forward to you a little bit. Because I did ask you about
Yeah.
parole, and you said like about 2.5 years, and that's why I alluded to you living life now.
Yeah.
You still, you living life. You're working now. You're making money.
Another job change. I had a job change.
So you had another job change, but you got experience now.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier
Oh,
now
yeah.
when you transition to another job, because you can go into that job now saying, "Hey, I did this, that, and the other." But something happened. Well, I guess this is a new friend that you met coming out.
Yeah. Winded up at Crispers. Straub's ended up closing for business. And that was another shocker. Like, oh my gosh, here we go again with this. Like, I'm on parole and now the business, I have to call and tell the officer, like, hey, they closed for business. But it was like, all right, just go look for another job. So now I got to look for another job and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, why is this happening? So I ended up going to Winter Park Village, and there was 2 places. And don't mean drag this, but it was a place called Bonefish. Blackfish and Crispers. And Crispers called me first. And they called me first. They hired me. They said $675. Okay. Well, this is 1990, not 2000. So I went ahead and took the job, but then Bonefish called me, or Blackfish, something like that. They were in the same plaza. They called me back. They said, well, I said, well, you already got hired. So now they're kind of like, they said, well, what do you make? I said, well, $675. I said, we'll give you 7. And I was like, they said, we'll give you 725. And I was going to go there, but I'm like, gosh, man. And this is where I learned the importance of your word.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I already got hired, took the job here. This is more money, but they already hired me. So I was thinking about jumping over there for more money, but I kept Crispers. Thank goodness I did, man. Thank goodness I stayed with Crispers, because guess what? I had a long career with Crispers. 19 years I spent with Crispers. Bonefish closed within 6 months in that plaza. So I'd have been out of a job again. So I ended up meeting Sean, who became like a little brother to me. And what was the thing was, when we met with each other, I picked up a night shift and he had to do extra dish and all the stuff here. So I stayed with him and I called his mom. His mom originally trained me. So when I called her mom, because I always call my friend's mom. And I told her, don't worry about it, I'll bring him home. And that's when the brotherhood started with me and him. And he was 17. And I was like, wow, 17. And he had an apartment with some female that had 2 kids. It wasn't his. And I watch him. He's paying bills. He's doing it. He's 17. 17. Like, yeah, you know, like 17. 17.
Doing your
Think about
thing.
it. Yeah, it was my thing. And I was inspiration came from that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that. And we came close, and he kind of brought my youth back to me and stuff like that. So where we hung out every day. We became brothers. It wasn't friends, brothers. And then, there was times that his mom would call me and be like, are you with your brother? And I'm like, no, I'm home. She's like, well, I don't know where your brother at. And I'm looking for him. And all. So I said, well, he was going over. So I had to drive over because I knew he called me because he tried to invite me somewhere and I didn't go. So I knew he was at, so I'd have to bring him home. He's drunk is all I do. I had to carry him, bring him home. Mom would thank me. And many times I'd had to go get him, he's stranded or blah, blah. So I had to get him and stuff like that. And then the one night tragedy hit that flipped my whole world upside down. And you want me to go on? Because I can go on.
Yes, share how you would like to share it though.
Yeah. So one night it was like birthday. And at this time, I'm in a relationship.
And you don't have to go into exact details, but
well,
I mean you can start from what you were saying.
Yeah, so I'm in a relationship, and my birthday is the next day. And my buddy, one of our friends, his birthday is on the 5th. My birthday is November 6th. So I just got through working a double shift. I didn't want to go nowhere. I wanted to stay home. I just didn't want to go nowhere. But I was in a toxic relationship at the time. I was like, man, I really wanted to. So I told him, nah, I'm staying home tonight. Called me again. Well, come on, man. It's what's the name birthday? You can't leave. So I'm like, all right. And I just had this eerie feeling. Now I followed that eerie feeling. If I feel uncomfortable about something, I stay home. I don't go nowhere. It's like, or I'm not going to walk down that road if I feel an eerie feeling and stuff. And I just felt like something was just not right. Something was off. I just felt bad. So I stopped at the store, got me a soda and a bag of chips, and it just didn't feel right. It's like a dark feeling. Go over there, pick them up. We go downtown, have a good time. We drop off our other friend, which is his birthday. So I'm sleepy. I'm tired. So we had drinks and all this stuff. So he's like, yeah, man. I said, you drive, man. Like in the back seat, he's driving. Stuff starts flashing. All of a sudden, I'm knocked out for a while. And I wake up. I'm in the back seat and I look. I'm in the neighborhood. What's going on over here? Where I'm at. So I'm looking. See some people outside. What's going on? Crank the car up. So now I got like, where is he? Because my car's parked on a corner. I pull up the corner. He's coming from around the corner. I'm like, oh, he's probably seeing some chick. So I was like, all right, man, you drive, man. I'll hop back in the seat. I'm tired. So he's driving and I'm knocked out. And all of a sudden, I hear, bro, take the wheel. Take the wheel. What do you mean? I'm in the back seat. So he's like sliding over, like trying to control because he doesn't have a license. I did. So I jumped from the back seat to the front seat. As soon as I grabbed the wheel, not too far from here, my car hits the curve. Boom. All of a sudden, car lose control. All I hear, bam, loud sound. I wake up. I'm on the ground. My vision is blurry. And I hear lady say, are you okay? Are you okay? And I don't even know what I see. Smoke. And I'm on my forearms, blood just dripping down on my forearm. I reach up here. That's why I got the scar. Big old gash is open. My nose is ripped from here to there, ripped open. My ribs are killing me. And I'm crawling. I don't know what happened. So they rolled me over. I'm hurt. And I don't know what's all I know is I passed out and I'm being flown to the hospital. I get to the hospital and I wake up in the hospital and they got me hooked up and all this stuff. I see a mirror and I see my face is busted up bad. What happened? And so they're telling me that I was in a bad car accident. And I was like, and I remember, okay, I was with Sean. I'm like, well, is Sean okay? And the state patrol, the troopers like, saying, oh, you didn't hear what happened to Sean? And I think Angela like bumped him because Angela was there, my mom to visit me, and Angela bumped him. And he's like, Sean's at another hospital. So I'm sitting there laying back. So they're doing things, and all of a sudden they transport me to another room, and that's when They told me Sean was deceased.
Mm.
So I thought the worst thing, he's probably paralyzed. This bad car accident, you know. And when I heard about that, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, I just started crying and stuff like that, man. Like all the nights I brought him home safely, and the one time I failed. And now the legal stuff kicks in. My parole violated.
Mm.
Now I'm being investigated for DUI manslaughter. I'm like, I wasn't driving. I said, we switched sides. I came from the back. They ain't trying to hear that. So then all of a sudden, now I get sent back to prison until the parole board makes a decision on me because I haven't been charged yet. I'm being investigated. So I get there, parole board clears me for me to be released. I spent a day in prison, and then I was released in about 2 days in prison, and then I was released. You know, so back home, I get back to my job. You know, they brought me back to my job, except I transferred from the Winter Park store to the Longwood store. And my work, I'm working. I'm up for management.
Ribs still healing.
Yeah, everything's good now. It's just, you know, everything's good. I'm healed up now and everything. So I'm back at work, you know, saying stuff like that after 60 days of being gone. I'm back. So I'm back at work and I'm happy, but I'm still nervous. Like, are these people going to come and charge me? You know what I'm saying? So the one day I was back there, you know what I'm saying, prepping, 2 police officers walk in. And they told me put the knife down, stand back. I got arrested, called. Now I'm being charged with DUI manslaughter and vehicle homicide.
Just 60 days later.
60 days later. And now, you know, I'm incarcerated. I get out and I'm waiting for trial. It took a year of going back to talk to his mom and all the stuff here, who's mom to me. And she spoke to me and she was on my side. She said, look, I don't blame you for that. You know, she said, you know, both of y'all, she said, you always loved Sean. You always took care of him. She said, what happened was a mistake and stuff like that. What happened? It's an accident. And she said, I'm going to be at your side. And so here he goes with the public pretender again. This time it's a brother.
Because the prosecution don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So this is where, like I said, they say the Jews, you know, that system is fair. It's not. So now the prosecutor's trying to do anything and everything to convict me. They come with a plea bargain, 10 years, 5 years probation. Dude, I just got sentenced to 10 years not too long, you know, and did 6.5. No. I said, I didn't take a gun and kill him. You know, like it's an accident. What happened? So they're not buying, you know, though the judge was like, okay, why has this case haven't been resolved? Listen to the judge. We'll offer him something else. 5 years prison, 10 years probation. No. You know, so his mom is like, I'm not taking, no, don't you take none of those plea bargains. She's like, because they want to know how I feel. And then that's when I learned about how judges make their decisions, quite a bit of them. Are you a danger to society? Are you a threat to society? Are you a menace to society? Guess what? I've been out 2.5 years. All I've done was work. I'm on child support and I take care of my daughter. I got a home where I'm raising 2 kids that's not mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm on standing in the community, you know? I'm not, so they see all that. Because when
full-time job.
Full-time job. You know what I'm saying? And they find out he's a kitchen manager. He's a corporate trainer. You know what I'm saying? So all this is playing in my favor. See, once you build up that good resume, it helps you. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go looking for a job, you build a good resume, it helps you. So I built a good resume as being an outstanding citizen, and it helped me. So this guy was trying to rush me to trial. I met with this public defender one time. Took my story. Yeah, I'm really aggressive when it comes to trial. She's not telling me nothing. What's the deal with my case? Oh, Miss Octavia, if she wants to speak, she's not leaving. The state are trying to get her to get on and say, he doesn't care about your son. Like, what? They're telling her this. So the night before I was supposed to go, because this is what I did. I said, I'm not going to trial. He's like, what do you mean? We're supposed to go. I said, no, I'm not going to trial. I said, no. I said, I'm plea mercy to the court. you know what I'm saying, bring character witness and stuff like that. He was like, oh, no, we got to go to trial. I said, no, I don't. I'm looking at this brother like, you're trying to railroad me. I've been railroaded already before. So it was like, no, I'm not going.
And I think somebody might want to make a comment on, they trying to raise their hand. I think Angela might be trying to raise her hand, trying to comment, I think, on what you're saying right now, possibly.
Yes.
Hey, sis.
Hey, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
He is giving the best version of that period of his life that was just very, very tough. Because when they violated his parole, he was still in the hospital. And his head was split open. At first, they didn't think he was going to make it. So at first, we thought we were going to lose him and Sean, his best friend and brother that grew on myself. I considered him my brother as well. However, I just want to give a testimony of the power of faith. For me, the power of Yahweh. Because we ended up having to fast. And what happened too is that through prayer, and just asking Yahweh to lead us at the time, I hired my attorney that I had been working for virtually. But it's like Yahweh just came to me and it was like, you need to write that judge a letter. But not only did I write him, I got his employers to write him and whoever I could to write the parole board. But I still remember writing in that letter and telling the parole board and the judge that they would have to release him because to hold him, you've already made him guilty. And technically, he was not yet committed of that crime. And that's why they let him go. To decide, well, we're going to wait and see the outcome. If you're found guilty, then we will violate your parole. But I still remember when he called and said they let me out. Talk about shaking and trembling. You don't expect something to actually work, but you fighting anyway. We fought so hard for him. We prayed so hard for him and we fought so hard. And he was not supposed to be a free man. He was barely supposed to be alive, but he was not supposed to be a free man. So when Yahweh show up and show you who he is, it's like he put you in a position. I still remember where the prosecutor was so mad and she said, Judge, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And I remember I responded, they almost put me out because I said, because my God is bigger than you.
Exactly. I remember that in court. I remember that.
They were trying to make you guilty until proven innocent, but it's supposed to be innocent.
Yeah, they were trying to, like I said, they was trying to basically railroad me in that situation. And this is the sneaky tactics. The day before trial, I mean, when I was gonna go in, I went and seen his mom that night, and the prosecutor told her, like, say court was Tuesday. You know what they told her? It was Wednesday.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
thank goodness,
thank goodness I did go and see her that night. So discuss what she was doing because that's what she wanted me to come on. And she's like, wait a minute. She said, court is tomorrow. I said, yeah. She's like, they told me it's Wednesday. The prosecutor told me it's Wednesday because the prosecutor kept trying to get her to testify for them and she wouldn't do it. So she had to get somebody to cover her shift and she showed up at the trial and they went up. I'm sitting there waiting to go because I'm coming in for sentencing, you know. And they walk right up to her while she's sitting there. I'm sure you don't want to testify. He's like, no. So everybody got up there and spoke for me and stuff like that. And his mom gave a powerful testimony for me and stuff like that. And she started tearing up to where I started tearing up because, man, it was just hurt me like all this was going on. And, you know, when you stood up and it's time for sentencing, man, and the judge says, you know, for what has happened, 10 years is a fair sentence for this. And I heard Angela go, oh, I heard Angela. Oh. And I was like, gosh, I just dropped my head and my heart just beat it. And I'm like, I'm thinking it's over. But he says, I'm not going to do that. Raise up. And the prosecutor just like, she just couldn't believe it. And I'm just like sitting there and he's like, my sentencing was 15 years probation, 15 years probation, 1,000-hour community service. And I would have to do classes. I was like, okay. I was like, hey, that's better than incarceration. Because the thing I had faith that I'd be able to do it, because the simple fact with me was when you're determined to get something done, you get it done. Right. And I learned that.
Now, what was the other thing that he mentioned as well? Vehicle.
Oh, I would my license is permanently revoked.
So we're looking at obstacles. This is a heavy challenge. 15 years probation. No vehicle, but he has to go to work
every day.
Every day. Remember now,
if you violate your probation, you gotta have a job. You gotta have a job, otherwise you violate your probation.
Right. So this is a
huge obstacle course.
This is before Uber.
Right.
This is a long time. There wasn't no Uber.
No Uber then.
Right. How many brothers we've seen get out of prison and have 3 or 4 years probation and end up going right back, having 5 years? We're talking about 15 years. He have no vehicle. This is a heavy obstacle. That's why I told him, you got to tell this story, because, and I know we're coming up on time, but how much of that time of 15 years you got left?
I'm done. I've been off probation for 5 years now.
Done the 15 years.
Because that obstacle, see a lot of that thing, but I pointed out what was fear. And see, you overcame the fear that instead of saying what you couldn't do, because you were father, you know what you needed to be for your daughter.
For my daughter.
And you decided what you need to do for yourself.
For myself.
That you were going to do it irregardless of these obstacles that they putting in your way, like probation, like license, by being a convicted felon. But when you have a work ethic and you have a character, see, it takes for a mother to lose her son, but to genuinely understand that this person is like a son to me. See, that's a powerful testimony to go before a judge. That's why the prosecution didn't want to do it. They were trying to railroad you. That's why they didn't want her to be able to make that testimony.
Yeah. I understood that. And when she explained that to me and everything, I was just like, wow. I was like, man, the dirty tactics, man. And just like, when the sentencing got handed,
that should be illegal. See, that should be illegal.
Yeah.
They told her, they told her it was on Wednesday.
Oh, she told the judge.
Because she wouldn't have showed up for whatever. And then they could just, that's a big old smoke screen they could have used to turn you into the big bad wolf.
Big villain. Say, she was hurt so bad that she didn't show up. They could have said that.
Or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just paraphrasing.
We talked to her last night and she was so broken.
Exactly.
She wanted to get 100 years.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That could have did me in and stuff like that. So I learned the dirty tactics to that and stuff. But it was like getting handed that sentence, man. It was like, now it's bad enough that the way I was living before was a challenge, but I had certain things I was able to do. But now it's like you're putting this maze that I got to navigate. And it was like, okay, 15 years probation. Man, you got guys that can't even do a year of it. I knew people that violated within their first 3 months. I'm like, 15 years of that? I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, well, I got to do it because I got to do it. I don't want to go incarcerated. Then
after losing your best friend.
Yeah, after losing my friend, that took a toll on me. So I did some counseling, stuff like that. But it was like,
stop. See, very important. It's a lot of things that we need to understand. You did what?
Counseling.
See, that's very important. We think that, I'm a man, I don't need that. Black men, bad, worse what? I don't need I don't need to talk to nobody. I'm gonna solve my problems in the bottom of a bottle.
There you go.
I'm gonna solve my problem with some dope.
With a blunt.
I'm gonna solve my problem by dogging out women.
Yeah.
And that leads them right back to prison.
Right back to prison. I was at the bus stop catching a bus. I just got off work and I was catching a bus home, and this lady see me and she just like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, and I was still going through it, saying stuff like that. And she told me about a counseling that they had over there. So I went to that counseling for like a week and stuff like that. And it was okay, but it helped me a little bit, but I was still kind of destroyed. what really did it for me was when I was able to walk my sister down the aisle. That opened my eyes because you know what? If I'd have got convicted, I wouldn't have been able to do that. She doesn't have a dad to walk her down that aisle. I had to walk her down that aisle and deliver to him, where I told her it was a happy but sad moment for me, because the reason why, that's who I lean to for everything, emotional support and everything. And I felt like that I was giving away my sister, and I'm not going to see my sister no more. They're going to move away and all that. So it started hurting me. So when they got married, I went in the bathroom and I started crying because the bond we had as a kid was there. It was like, man, they're going to move. I'm not going to see her no more. But I end up gaining something. I gained a wonderful brother-in-law that mentored me into a lot of stuff and opened the gateway to Yahweh again, where I lost that in prison. And that study of learning and teaching me more, it started changing a lot of things for me and stuff like that, and started understanding more that we're important and stuff like that. So, and like I said, my daughter situation. So I knew I had to get this done. And one of the things, I had to get out this toxic relationship that wasn't good for me. So now I had to push everything aside, and now I got to do everything, and I got to navigate all this stuff. Like, okay, you want me to start, wait a minute, you want me to start doing 1,000 hours right now? Like, you want me to do a class right now? I'm like, ain't but so many year time in a day. And I'm like, man.
And I ain't got transportation.
I ain't got no transportation to get around. And of course, I ain't got nobody to take me to. So now I got to learn the bus system. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So
you mastered that.
Oh yeah, I mastered that. But I can tell you to get it. I can master
That's
buses.
why when I'm sure into my, I can't do this.
Oh,
I
no.
can't go this. Like, prime example. He does everything that we always bring up. Their uncle to catch the bus every day, know everything about the bus system, because he's someone that's trying to get certain things done. You can make that an excuse, but that's no excuse.
It's not, man. It's a terrible excuse. And a couple of friends said they use that towards relatives and other members saying, well, I ain't got no car to go looking for a job. But let me tell you something. I had two jobs since 2005. I worked 2 jobs, and that helped me to get away from a lot of that, because I didn't have the time for that nonsense. I understood that, hey, I need to make a living. I need to take care of stuff, and I can't depend on nobody. I have to depend on myself, and my daughter depend on me. So I pulled 2 jobs, and I learned the bus system. So it's not an excuse. That's just BS excuse and stuff like that. So, and I'm still working 2 jobs to this day, and people are like, man, I don't know how you do it. I was like, it's easy. It became life for me. And they were like, well, you plan on quitting one of them jobs? I don't know. I like the checks. And I feel like if you learn the addiction of a paycheck, right, if you get addicted to a paycheck, because a lot of people, we got wrong addictions. Yes. Addictions are not bad. Right. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what you're addicted to. You're addicted to success, you're going to do anything it takes to get that success. Right. I'm addicted to a paycheck. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. Success. Yeah, which is success for me, which is like, I'm going to get that paycheck, you know what I'm saying? And that's addiction. I had my nights hanging out, partying, but guess what? I hung out to where I was out 2 a.m, 3 a.m, got to be at work at 7. You think I missed work? No, I had my behind in work. And my friends like, man, you went to work? Yeah, because I have responsibilities and stuff like that. My responsibility is my daughter. Then when you get your own home and you're on your own, whew, yeah, you need that second income.
So you built this character for yourself, like coming through, like everything that you have come through, all these obstacles, you built up this character for yourself. And even if we go back to the first time you fill out the application as far as your desires, you can actually do that now. Yeah, because you got a skill set.
Oh yeah, I got a skill set.
You can say, I don't want to work these 2 days.
Yeah, you can negotiate.
Much money.
Yeah, that comes with resume. Like I said, once again, when you build that resume, and for the past 5 or 6 years, I've been flexing my muscle.
Right.
And it throws me off sometimes because I'm like, wow, I could do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? And now my email box is
look where I came from.
Yeah. My email box is loaded. People always trying. I have not put an application for a job in I don't know how many years. People been recruiting me ever since. I'm always being recruited. Still to this day, I am being recruited. It came with 19 years at Crispers, going here, and then when you have success in a restaurant, like I became a KM, that way they moved me from Crispers to Crispers, where people get promoted as GMs. First person they looking for, what's Sonny doing? Then when they leave the company, hey, where's Sonny? Y'all spoke to Sonny? Hey, Sonny, I'm paying this over. So now it's like I get recruited like crazy, and it's like, dang, I came from this where I was scared to get a job, and I thought, hey, I can only do this, that. I'm only because I thought I'm just going to be cleaning tables for the rest of my life, because I'm like, I was so happy to have a job. I wasn't trying to go nowhere. If that place wouldn't have closed, I probably still would have been there. You know what I'm saying? But I learned to flex my muscle.
Managing it by now.
Yeah, probably management.
Just to be honest.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how it came up in Crispers. I ended up becoming corporate trainer, and then it became management. So now I train MITs, which means manager and training. I train so many managers, and then the good side, I don't know how long we got, but the good side.
I'm gonna let you finish that part.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's the good thing?
The only thing, because I wanted you to get to that part, is one, I'd be remiss not to allow you to share the one part that you in riding the bus, as far as you getting the citizen, what it was, the citizen of the year. I have to allow you to share that.
Oh, okay.
That part,
Yeah. That was I was riding the bus and stuff like that. And if you let the hood tell you what to do, it'll mess you up, because this is a no. You mind your business if you go by with the hood. But if you go by your moral believing, saying, and me being, Yona, the son of Yahweh and all that stuff, me being all this and, in my faith and all that, you don't listen to what the hood tells you. You listen to your moral, your upbringing and stuff. And I was catching a bus one morning, and the little Spanish lady, I remember we catch the bus every time. She catches it at the next stop, and she comes say hi to me. I say hi to her, and that's it. So one day we was getting on the bus together, and I stood in the back, and I'm sitting there waiting to get on the bus, and I noticed, this dude looking down, kept looking down. He let her get in front of him. He's looking down, and I'm looking at him because, look, I know when stuff's going to happen because I've been around it. Please tell me this man ain't finna snatch her purse. So what he did, as soon as she went to take that first step on the bus, he grabbed her purse. Wow. She is hanging on for dear life. And I'm already on the bus. So I'm looking through the window. He snatched her purse and slung her on the ground.
Oh, wow.
And took off running. These two dudes tried to get him. They tripped over each other and fall. I jump off the bus. I don't know what made me do that. I'm already late for work as it is. I jump off the bus, and I know the area real good. I jump out the back door, and I start chasing him. He cut around the corner. I come around this way because I know this leads this way. So I go there. There's no way you vanish. He's somewhere around here. So I'm looking at the dumpster. He's here. So I look in the bushes, the big Christmas tree looking bushes. We call them Christmas tree.
Try to hide in them.
Yeah, I see him because I could see the white and red Houston jersey because he had a camouflage jacket. I could see things and moving. I'm like, okay, he's in there. So I got to get this guy. How am I going to get him? I got to call the police. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know the name of the road. So I walk up the road. So I'm sitting there talking like, damn, this dude got away, man. This dude disappeared. Setting him up, making him think he got away. So I walk up to the corner, got the name of it. I called 911 and told them where I'm at. I said, the guy's somewhere, I know where I'm at. So then bingo, the two guys come, they're like, you seen him? So I said, pointing at the bush. He's in there. So he's like, they go right over there. Man, come on out, coming out. This dude, like a squirrel, came from up under that doggone bush, run towards them. They can't get this man. They fall again. He comes to me. I played football. He think he's going to get away from me. I tackled him, slammed him on the ground, put him in submission, held him down. The cops came and all the stuff like they're putting the cuffs on him and stuff like that. He stopped talking about, I can't breathe. I had him in a chokehold. It's like, he can't breathe. Put him, so now here I am. Oh, dude, I'm on parole. This guy, please don't die on me. In the car. And it's like, don't worry about him. Like, boom. So the officer take me to work. And all of a sudden, like a couple of weeks later, I get a letter in the mail. Orange County Sheriff. I'm scared now. Anything from the police department, I'm terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? What happened? So they call me. They want me to attend this event. I ain't going to no event. No, I'm going to
Trying
work.
to arrest me.
Yeah, y'all might try to arrest me for something. No, I'm not going there because you see those little scams. Oh, come get a free TV over here. And they arrest you. You know, it's a sting. Oh, I ain't going there. I call my advisor. My advisor is Angela. So I'm like, yeah, they call me to come. And Angela's like, oh, that's a award ceremony. You going? I was like, man, I ain't going to that. I say, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Oh, boy. Okay. So I say, well, you're taking me and you're going with me. Okay. I get there, man. The last time I seen that many police officers in a room, I was being arrested.
They weren't smiling at you.
No, I was being booked. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, my deodorant turned to cream under my arms. So we sit there and they're calling everybody up, and they call Sonny Dorelli, and they're saying what I did and all the stuff here. So now I got to go stand with the sheriff, which was Barry. Stood up with them, and as I walked to me, shake my hand, he said, "You ready to be a deputy?" I don't know if you want me to be a deputy. I said, "You gonna clean my record?" You know what I'm saying? So he shakes hands, smiled, take a picture. Anne was so happy. I couldn't wait to get out of that place. And then it was such a good feeling, like, man, I really changed, man.
What was the award?
It was citizen, something about Good Samaritan, something like that. It was such a good feeling to get that.
Did they bring the lady there? They didn't bring her.
No, she didn't come and stuff like that. You know, they just everybody was clapping for all these police officers clapping for me. And we sat back down, we leaving. And as we leaving, everybody shaking my hand, shake my hand. Police officer, I'm looking at you. Okay, you shaking my hand, but I don't want you to shake my hand and click.
Yeah,
the old shake hand click stuff that you see in the movie. So I was nervous. And I was like, come on, Angela, let's go. She's like, boys, calm down. I'm like, man, shoot. I couldn't wait till we got 10 yards away from that place. My heart was beating fast. The order turned to whipped cream up under my arms and stuff. And it was a good, it was
but it was genuine.
It was genuine stuff like that. So
before we leave and go to a commercial break, I know we out of time, and Miss K, we might not even be able to get to the news of the day. But I do want you to be able to share. Well, go ahead. The one thing
I wanted to share one thing was with the power that I ended up getting when I became a kitchen manager and stuff like that job. I remember how hard it was for me to get a job. So I started giving people jobs left and right.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah. Where I've given homeless people jobs, convicted felons. I started a practice at Crispers where I had so much power, where I was known through the company. I was there 15 years at the time. And I was well respected, well liked, well loved through that company, that I was hiring people that was at work release. And they came and they made me look real good because they were not trying to miss no shits because they didn't want to stay on the compound. And some of the people that I hired that was homeless became managers and stuff like. You want me to say who that was?
I know.
You know who that was?
Yeah.
And
well, he can say it.
Nashawn.
Remember?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I hired Nashawn. Nashawn became a manager and stuff like that. He told me his situation, that he was living in his car. That shocked me. And that made me feel so good. And I've hired many people that was homeless because I told myself that, man, I didn't get a lot of help. But my duty still to this day is help people. And I still, do that practice today. And I'm long away from Crispers. And I still do. And I just hired a homeless dude that, he didn't, I remember him coming in at Chili's, to eat. And he ran to me. He said, man, he's like, yeah, I went through hard times. He's living in his van and all that stuff. So I gave him a job and stuff like that. And he's doing an amazing job. So with power comes responsibilities and stuff like that. So.
And that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah.
What are you doing now to give back to the community? And you mentioned all of that, and that's something that you're still doing.
I still do this to this day.
Now today.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I want people to be able to see your story and be able to, if they're going through any of these things that you went through, the challenges that you went through, a person can't have an excuse.
No,
they can't have an excuse. Because the challenges that you went through and you overcame, it'd be small things I see people go through. Compared to your situation, it'd be small things that they go through where they just give up. There's a motivation or inspiration for anybody that's going through something that you can accomplish it, you can do it. So we want to always try to put that type of energy out there so people can be able to feed off of it. And it can just build someone else's character as it has built your character. Yeah. It took a lot of hard work to do that. And
But you don't realize it. You don't realize it.
We at this, and right now, we kind of took. I want to kind of take your story to that point. I know we would normally go into our commercial break and our news, but we're at
we're at that time
2:30. And with that being said, I am going to put it back on you. What would you share with a young person that's going through that right now, and trying to overcome those adversities?
For me, like I said, you gotta find a reason, and the reason should always be to do better. My reason was not only just to do better; it was I had a child. Saying even if that reason, saying do better for yourself, man. Like you got to look at your current situation. If your situation, you're struggling, you're going through something, because we suffer a lot of trauma, and a lot of that trauma doesn't get healed, and sometimes it takes saying some motivation and stuff like that, man, and stuff like that. You got to get away from bad apples, and the person that you don't want to listen to that's speaking that positive stuff, that's who you need to engage with and stuff like that. So that's what I tell people. I said, man, never be afraid to keep trying, and never be afraid to leave the situation that's not good for you.
And
yeah, somebody just mentioned that's a wonderful way to pay it forward. They can't wait for your book to come out. Oh, they don't put you on the square.
Oh, I always talk to him about that. But Minister, I'll have you go ahead and sign off as well.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Brother Yona. Thank you for coming and sharing your story, because it's so heartfelt, touching, and it's real. It's just a real story, and it's just an inspiration that we can do whatever we choose to if we put our mind to it. You're a living example, for a young Black man to say that they have no way out. You your way out. You living proof of that. You went from almost the lowest set of low beings, people turning you in, to where now you are at an opportunity to make a difference in other people's lives, and that's powerful.
It came, man. Y'all helped me to realize how powerful my story was, because I never really paid it that much attention, because I was living day for day of survival. Just taking care of things. He spoke to me, but I didn't see it. And I really don't see much of the accomplishments of what I did until somebody takes you, saying back, yeah, people have mentioned things, and you be like, yeah, okay, yeah. But you don't really focus on it, because I don't give my credit.
I'll say this, you can never see your own greatness. Only people around you can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say the same thing. I do thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Sharing your story. And I would like to thank the listening audience for tuning in today to Live Talk. And I'm going to leave you with this here. This motivational quote comes from the Holy Scriptures, Romans 12:21. And it says, "Be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good." And that's what we have witnessed from our dear brother that's sharing his story today, that he overcame evil by doing good. And from the host, I want to say peace and prosperity. And from Live Talk, we are out. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
For live.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.